Welcome to Life You Got This. Life You Got This, Misty Covington, guests, and any social media platforms used, including any references, links, or other knowledge resources, are for informational purposes only. Please seek professional assistance should you require it. If you believe you are in an emergency, call 911 immediately. Hey everybody, this is Misty Covington with Life You Got This, and it's another episode for our Don't Twist My Words with my spouse and partner, Tim Covington.
Hi folks, happy to be here.
Thank you. He is the hero. He really is uncomfortable doing it, but he's willing to sacrifice his time and part of his sanity being here with us. But we are going to go, we're still in skill 1, which is listening to understand, remembering that if our goal is to understand the other person, not so much that we hope they understand us, because that will happen automatically. If I truly understand them and what they're saying, and then they are then in turn doing the same thing, we will be heard and understood. But if our goal needs to be outside of us and on them and whoever's talking first, or whoever brought up the issue. And if it was just something to happen organic, then we need to make sure that we're both going back and forth and trying to understand. The last thing that we've done the listening blockades and the thinking blockades. And the idea that I was encouraging everybody to do was take these with you, put them on the refrigerator. When you have conversations, get them out. Sometimes, even if they're just there on the table while you're having a conversation, you're more apt to be more present with it or more aware of it and intentional, even if you don't look at them, but they're on the table, right? And so because they're on the table, your conscious and subconscious is aware. You might look at them and kind of see what's happening. But the whole idea was for you to practice, I'm having this conversation about who takes the trash out, or whose job it was to unload the dishwasher, and those everyday things, and noticing, like, if someone's telling me something, am I listening to what they said, or am I doing a thinking blockade, like rehearsing, well, when they're done, I'm going to say this, or am I derailing, or am I personalizing something, mind reading, blaming, shoulding, right? Those are the things that we do that stop us from understanding or listen to understand. So that's the whole idea behind that. We're going to go into the next little section, which is I have a listening to understand worksheet. And so we're going to kind of go over, we are going to go over that today together using an example that we created. And so we're going to read from it just because it's honestly simpler. I'll look at my husband and get lost in his blue eyes and then forget what I was saying. So I have to look at my notes. You're like laughing. You're like going, whatever, lost in my blue eyes.
Yeah, I don't think so.
There's a whole story about blue eyes. When I first met you, I couldn't remember your name, but I don't know if I left something, or you came over to Wendy's house. I can't remember why. Because I was flying away when we first met, and she answered the door to do something, and I think it was legit. It wasn't like one of those, I left a scarf in your car. It was something was legit, and you dropped it by because you were in the area, because I had to fly out because I didn't even live there yet.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah, and she opened the door, and then I came and talked, and I came back, and she goes, holy blue eyes. Like, she remembered that. And that friend, when I met you, Michelle, she said the same thing, like, great eyes. You had to go to. She's not into facial hair.
These days are more bloodshot than blue.
Right. Anyways, I derailed myself. There you go. But so the idea is to have these worksheets and practice them, and also know that if this is new for you, if you're used to bantering back and forth, and even though I know these skills and my husband knows them through osmosis with me, we still banter back and forth. It's like we get it probably right every week, and we get it wrong every week. But even though I'm better at using them because they're in my head all the time, I'm not always better at using them because they're in my head all the time. I don't know if that's making sense, but I think I'm pretty quick, actually, as far as, at least lately, now that we've been doing this on air. I think I'm better at, like, going, okay, pause. let's say that again. Or like, can you possibly think of any thinking blockades or listening blockades that either one of us might be using?
Yeah, you've been better at it than I have been. I have noticed I've been catching myself
More
on
quickly.
some of the thinking blockades,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think about this before I say it.
Yeah.
Make sure I
Yeah. I've been way
get it
more
right.
conscious of it. And because I'm more conscious of it, even though I teach it every day, like I literally teach, well, out of the 7 days, 4 days out of the week, I have a couple that I work with every day as well as individuals.
You should be way better at this than I am.
Well, maybe I think I'm way better than you are. Maybe. But listen, sometimes when we have those sometimes our feelings hijack things, right? Or that happens so
For sure.
quickly and I'm
Yeah,
not
for
and
sure.
I'm not so present. I go, "Brrr." And a lot of times that happens because something triggered something from the past, whether it was with you or my childhood, even things we don't know. But yeah, I and don't should on me. That's a thinking blockade, right? But sometimes I should on myself. Sometimes I have higher expectations of myself. To be honest, and I go, oh, I missed that again. When I catch myself in the moment, but I'm been very happy. Not I guess proud's the right word, but I'm more like, good for me. I got it, even though it was a hard conversation. I paused myself, not so much like, oh, we got this great conversation, but like, oh, I caught it. And I stopped myself from getting out of the window. I stopped myself from using that blockade. So remembering that there are going to be lots of times, a lot of do agains to have the practice. And even if we're going to have a conversation, like you and I have actually had conversations, and I notice that I lead this way. Maybe you lead this way too. But if it's going to be hard, I'm like going, you know what? I think he's going to be triggered by this because of past experiences we've had. I will sometimes say, hey, I want to have a conversation, and I might use the wrong words. Just know that my intent is for us to get to the bottom of this, or for me to share some thoughts that's not blaming. I think that if I'm worried, or if I think this is going to be a hard conversation, I usually will announce it and go, I'm probably going to mess up. And I think that helps, because I don't know, does it help when I say stuff like that? Like, oh, or maybe it hurts. Oh my gosh, what are we going to talk about?
Sometimes I get my guard up when I hear that.
Yeah.
So,
but if I'm being humble about it, going like,
but
I'll probably say it
right.
wrong, but just know that this is not about you. This is about me processing. I just need some help sorting it out, or I just need to ask some clarification questions. Then it's like, oh, I'm off the hook. I don't have to fix anything. She's just got a couple of questions, right? Or she's got, she's whatever. I think it helps. It helps me anyways. If you approached me that way, that would help me. Like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna mess this up, but can we just try it anyways? And let's use our listening blockades. I got it out because I know that I tend to derail or whatever, right? So just remember that as you're getting them out, please practice it. Earlier, I was talking to you about I have a gal that I've seen for a couple of years. We work on lots of things. She's got layers and layers of trauma that impact a lot of her world. And she's been dating this person for a little bit. And then he just started coming. They have like 3 hot button topics that if they're going to argue, they're going to argue about it, but they're not deal breakers to be in a relationship. They just don't know how to talk about it because they have different versions of truth, I guess, because they have different realities and their experiences are different. But I always use the example of, okay, whether you're taking the trash, I always do trash. And maybe it's because, I don't know, because we never argued about trash in my house when I was growing up. And I don't know if you and I even argue about who's taking out the trash. Maybe we do a little bit. I have no idea, especially if we missed taking it out to the trash before the trash man came. But I use that, and I was just just tickled pink, as they say, when this new person who on the very first session, we talk about that example, like, hey, practice even when you're deciding who's taking out the trash. Use that as the example. Everyday anecdotal things that you don't argue about, use that to practice listening and not using your thinking errors. literally the next week he did it, and she didn't catch that that's what he was doing. So they came back to session the next week going, yeah, we had a little bit of argument about the trash. And I go, what? And she goes, yeah. And she tells me what happened. I go, oh. And I go, oh, what do you think happened? And he starts laughing, going, I was doing that. I was saying, hey, I said this phrase, like, were you planning on taking out the trash, to get the practice conversation going? And she wasn't picking up what I was laying down. So it was a good story. And then she goes, oh, and because they go, we can't talk about it until we get in front of Misty. And she goes, I went into fix it mode. And I go, yeah, did you hear what he said? And he goes, we said this. And I go, did you answer the question? And she goes, no, I just went into fix it mode. And I go, yeah, he wasn't asking you to do anything. He just wanted to know if you had planned on it. That was a yes or no question. She goes, oh, I missed that. And I go, that's okay. But that tells you who you are. You're, oh, someone's asking me if I thought about that. Did I tell them? And she went into this problem solving, like, oh my gosh, did I forget I said something with my ADHD? And she just went all those things instead of just listening to the words and then answering the question. It was a perfect illustration. I adore this person, honestly. She's one of my favorite people. But anyway, that was the example. So practice using that. Today, we're going to talk about, we're going to use this worksheet. If it's on, I don't even know what page is it on your
13.
page. Yeah, it's the same with mine. I have it, one of the things. It looks like this. I don't know if the camera's going to be on me or Tim, but it looks like that. It has examples in it. Just so you know, just in case, whatever one, just so you know, this has the example in it. But if you get the workbook, if you order it from Amazon, in the back of it has all the resource pages, and they're blank. And I don't care if you fill them out. It's nice for an exercise to write it out. But if you just had it blank and had it in front of you during a conversation, a practice conversation, or a conversation that you're like, oh, we better get this out because we're talking about kids or parenting, and we tend to get derailed or arguing or fighting over parenting styles, then definitely get it out. Again, you don't have to write it, but it helps you cue. So and this was a husband and wife scenario, and it was the wife who made the initial statement. I'm going to make the statement, and then Tim, you're going to give 2 examples of and we're going to go through each one, right?
Of listening blockades.
Or thinking. Yeah, we're going to go down the other one. So I'll say it, and then I'll just ask you, hey, give me an example of a listening blockade, and then you say it, and then we'll announce what it is. Does that sound good?
Okay. I have lots of them.
Okay. We just need to. But we might talk about ourselves. We were talking about a scenario that we had about the dishwasher, and we still can't get it right. But if we just
She's still wrong.
If we just focus, and it's not about the dishes, it's about the listening. That's the whole point, was about the listening. Yeah. Maybe we'll bring that up one time and see if we can get it right. Out of all the things that stump us, it's not about world peace. It's about the dishes in the dishwasher or starting the dishwasher. Anyway, okay. So here's the initial statement. We hardly spend any time together. It feels like when you have any free time, you choose to spend it with your friends, and you don't even consider doing things with me. So that's my statement. What are a couple of listening blockades that you think could happen?
Well, I would say, you don't give me credit for the time we do spend together.
Okay, so what is that? Instead of listening,
that would be sparring.
Sparring, yeah, because if you say that, it's almost like an argument, right?
Right.
Oh, Ted, yeah, and then I could go, well, I would come back if I wasn't listening, right? Okay, give me another one.
Another one would be, you always think our not spending time together is my fault. Why is that my fault?
Yeah, because I'm holding responsible. Okay, what's that one? What's that?
Well, I'm mind reading, right? Because I don't know. That's what you always think.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing. You could say, you think this. The word always, remember that's one of the no words. You always, you never. It's like big, and it's
right.
That's a thinking blockade too, by the way. It's a globalizing, but yeah. So that was a thinking and a listening blockade. But yeah, you always think are not spending time together. Okay. So that was the listening blockade. But you and your skill, Tim, what did I say? What did you hear me say? I made 3 points. So if you were talking to me and this is a real conversation and you're not using listening blockades, what did you hear me say?
So you said we hardly spend time together.
Okay.
It feels like that when we do have any free time, I spend it with my friends, and that I never consider spending it with you.
Well, is that accurate? Never?
Or don't even consider.
Yeah.
It's the same, isn't it? I don't even consider spending it with you, or I'd never consider spending
That to
it
me
with
sounds different. You don't even consider me. You never consider me. What sounds better? What sounds like just a statement?
you.
And
Well, even sounds better.
Never would be an accusation. And that if she says never consider me, then that would be a thinking blockade. And I would be, it's a couple of things. It's me shoulding you. That's a thinking, because
Okay.
never always. So I'd have that thinking blockade of shoulding. And I'm also globalizing that you never do this.
Okay.
Right. So that would be her. And she might, like, if this is with me saying that, if I did say never consider doing things with me, then even in my statement, there's some judgment there, right? Which would denounce for sure defensiveness.
So in your statement, you don't even consider me.
You don't even consider doing things with
Then
me.
is that mind reading? Because you don't know if
Yeah,
I
that could
even
be.
consider.
Yeah,
So-
that would. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
But that's her statement. So even if she's breaking all the rules, or in my case, I'm the she, even if I am mind reading stuff, because clearly I have some thinking blockades there. We haven't had a conversation, so my listening blockades aren't there, but definitely there's some thinking blockades. So even still, though, you're hearing me, right? But that you're right. So if you said that to me, if you said, okay, if before we even get to thinking blockades, if you didn't do the listening blockage and then you said that, like, okay, so what I'm hearing you say is that you don't think we spend enough time together. Did I get that right? Yeah. Yeah, you heard it right. And then if you said all those 3 things the way you just said, I go, yes, you heard me correctly. Now, then you could do some other things. But what are some, could there have been some thinking blockades? Yeah.
So I could say, well, work is so stressful. I need to unwind, and friends help me do that. I see you every day.
Yeah. You're not helping me unwind. No. Okay. And what would that be an example of?
Oh, probably minimizing.
Yeah, because she's got these thoughts and feelings like, hey, you spend time with them, but you don't want to spend time with me. And you go, yeah, I see you all the time, though. Like, wait, you're minimizing my feelings of wanting to see you, which, by the way, would be minimizing. Like, you should be thrilled. Why aren't you thrilled that your wife wants to spend time with you? Be thrilled about that. Well, I see her every day. Okay, well, that's minimizing. Yeah. Okay. What's another one?
Another one would be like, wow, you think I'm so bad because I do things for myself once in a while.
Okay. What is that?
Kind of personalizing it a little bit.
Yeah. In what way? Like, oh, you think I'm bad?
Or like, I don't know. What do you think?
I'm laughing, going, well, you're the one that said it was personal. You're taking it, personalizing is taking it personal.
Self-explanatory, right?
Well,
you think I'm so bad.
Yeah, I'm personalizing it. You're hurting my feelings. You think I'm bad. So I'm personalizing what your thoughts are. You don't know what my thoughts are. You're just assuming, right? So there's like a few things there, but oh wow, I'm so bad because I want to do something for myself. It's almost like I hear this a lot, like when we were first married, we would do this where I'd say something about your kids and you go, I'm sorry, my kids are so bad. And I'm like going, well, first of all, I didn't say that, but this is when we were first married. I don't think you do it much anymore. You might do it sometimes, but because I'm the stepmom, right? And this is not uncommon. My sisters do. My one sister does this too. Like if someone says about our kid, she kind of personalizes it. Like even though it's not I hear one sister say something to the other sister, and then one sister gets upset because they're like, oh my gosh, you think my kid, I'm sorry, my kids are so wicked. They're so bad. I'm like, wow, you're personalizing that. I didn't say anything bad about your kids. I just said, I saw that your kid did this, or I'm wondering, oh, well, I'm curious about that or whatever, right? Like, yeah. I'm just remembering the time we came home from vacation and Trace had gone into the house. The house was locked and he went to the bathroom and he and his friends had a party in our house the week that we were trying to sell it. And I remember us having, I was already frustrated because every bed had been used or slept in. I don't know what they were doing in the bed. I'm assuming things, definitely, but I was distraught. And you're like, I'm sorry. I remember you saying something like, yes, he's so bad. I'm like going, I'm not saying he's a bad kid. I'm saying he made a bad choice. Look at our house, you know? And I remember I don't know, I just brought it up like, wow. Anyway, and so you were taking it personal and like, because he made a bad choice. At any rate, that's what that reminds me of. Any rate, okay. So that would be, okay. So if I didn't have the thinking blockades, right, it would go right back to, what did I say? Or what did she say? Like,
what did I think I heard?
That's what you thought you heard. No, that's what the blockade was. Okay. But like, okay, the blockade's gone. I'm not going to have thinking blockades. I'm going right back to the three things, which were.
Well, my wife's holding me responsible for.
Nope, that's not what I'm asking you.
What are you asking?
I didn't ask you.
Just that we hardly spend time together, and that when we do have free time.
You have free time
with my friends.
Yeah.
And that I don't even consider spending it with her.
Right.
Or you.
Right. So if I'm not, so you don't have to necessarily have a listening blockade or thinking blockade. You literally could hear the words and get those right, and then still interpret it incorrectly, right? And so that's always good to say, like, if I'm literally repeating word for word what the other person's saying, I need to also make sure, like, well, I quoted you, I must be hearing you right. But then it goes into, well, what do you think you heard? And that's where you were starting. Like, where did you think you heard? So you're not using any thinking errors or thinking blockades, and you're not doing listening. You got it. These are the 3 points. What do you think those 3 points mean?
So as a guy, this is what I heard. Okay. I heard my wife's holding me responsible for our not spending time together.
Okay.
She doesn't give me credit for the time we do spend together.
Because we do spend time. Yeah.
And she wants me to give up my friends.
Yeah. So I can see how all of those would be interpreted, right? Because if I have a couple in front of me and she's like saying, these are the 3 things, I can see why the husband would go, oh, she wants me to give up my friends, because she's bringing up the point that when you have free time, you choose your friends. Oh, she must not want me to choose my friends. She must want me to give up my friends. Totally makes sense that you might think that. So the idea of this is that, okay, I heard the words. I don't have thinking blockades. I don't have listening blockades. Here's what the words that she said. Here's how I'm interpreting it. I don't know if that's accurate, right? Which could go into mind reading, which would be a thinking error, but I'm not trying to tell her she's thinking something. I'm saying, this is how I'm interpreting it, so I better make sure. And that's when you go to the clarification. So when you're having these conversations and you get stuck, you always want to go, is there a thinking blockade? Did I hear everything I said? Okay, I repeated it. Is there a thinking error? Are my own thinking errors getting messed up and I'm not hearing what she's saying or understanding? You know, like, wow, she thinks I'm bad because I want to do some stuff for myself, right? That's a thinking error. And then there's defensiveness there. And then like, okay, well, here's what I think she's saying. Okay, but I don't know because I'm not allowed to mind read, right? I got to get out of her head. There's a lot going on in there. So what might clarification sound like? And you have an example of that.
It sounds like you want us to do more things together. And maybe that you think that I spend too much time with my friends.
Yeah, which is different than give up my friends.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe you don't think I care about you or something. Is any of this correct? Maybe you can explain more so I can understand what exactly you're thinking.
Okay. So I know we're reading this, and so it might not flow as well, but like, so yeah, so you're clarifying, like, okay, sounds like you want to spend more time together. Sounds like maybe you think I spend too much time with my friends. Maybe you don't think I care about you, or something in that wheelhouse. Is any of this correct? And if I don't have it correct, you requested, help me understand. Maybe you can explain more. Tell me more about that. That's a really great sentence. Like, well, tell me more what you're thinking. What do you mean by that? When you say you think that I spend too much time with my friends, help me understand why you think that. Not for her to be defensive. It's like it's really out of curiosity. And that's a key thing, though, because sometimes they go, well, what do you mean that's totally different. What do you mean I spend too much time with my friends? What do you mean by that? That sounds like they're challenging that person's thoughts. They're just thoughts. And that person has a right to those thoughts. But if I'm leaning into curiosity, like, I really want to know why she thinks that. I'm not going to like demand that from her, right? What do you mean by that? Prove to yourself to me. Enunciations, tones, word choices mean a lot. But if you say, like,
So
it sounds like you're saying that.
So
is that what you mean?
Going to keep her from going on the defensive with a clarification statement from him?
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like tones matter. If I can ask that same question, because he says, maybe you think I spend too much time with my friends. Maybe you don't think I care about you, or something like that. Like, is any of that correct? Right? Is that correct? Am I hearing you right? Now, she might say, like, well, if it were me, right? Because we talked about this scenario, even though I wasn't thinking of us when I wrote this scenario. We've had scenarios like that, especially when we were first married and traveling, yada, yada, yada. When we go to and from to see your family, who live not near us, I can see this person's like going, was any of that correct? And so she would go, if this is the answer, like, no, I don't think you spend too much time with your friends. I don't think you spend enough time with me. That right there is clarification. It's not really about the time spending. She's saying, when you have free time, it seems like you're giving it to them. I don't get a vote. You're not choosing me. I want you to spend time with the friends. I also want you to spend time with me. And so that's the clarification. So if he asks that, am I getting this right? You're getting it partly right. Yeah. I don't think you spend too much time with them. I feel like they get first choice. So then she's already clarifying it more. I think they get first choice. I would love it if you would give me choice.
Right. That's probably not the time for her to unload all the time she spent with his friends and hanging out and ignoring her.
Not unless he asks, right? So, because then that's when he goes tete-a-tete, because then he goes, tell me when. Go, how many times do I do that without you? I'm like, whoa. You guys aren't listening to each other. Now you're doing defensive mode. Like, right. Prove to me that I'm the bad guy. So that means there was some thinking errors. There was some thinking blockades, right?
For her to say, like you're saying, not unload on all the times he spent with his friends, but say, no, it's not that you spend too much time. I just want you to spend more time with me.
Right.
That's a better way to say it.
Right. I thought I said that. Maybe
that's what you said. Well. That's what you said.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. And so she clarifies that. And then it might be going, well, then there's the second part. Well, maybe you don't think I care about, do you not think it, okay, well, that's helpful. Tell me more about that. That's beautiful. Tell me more about, you don't think I spend too much time. You don't think we spend enough time together. I don't spend enough time with you when I have free time. Tell me more about that. Let's explore more. Yeah, sometimes I feel like that. I feel like, you get every other week you have a Saturday off, and you know, you need to do stuff on your own and do things that you love: hunting, fishing, golfing, going to the movies, hiking, things that maybe I'm not into, or things that you have in common with your friends. Even if you like me going, you want to do some, not recreation, but recreation and recreation. I get that you need that. But when you spend the whole day doing that on your one day off every other week, then I feel left out. That hurts my feelings. It seems like you choose them over me. And then you get to the nitty gritty, because she's going to be more vulnerable with you because you heard her. You heard what she said. You're not saying she was wrong. You're not thinking she's too sensitive. You're like going, well, tell me more about that. So now she's being really vulnerable. And you're like going, oh, do you think I don't care for you enough? Or are you afraid that I like them more than you, or whatever? And she can go yes or no, or like, I don't really think that, but sometimes it feels that. I feel I miss you. Like, who wouldn't want? Well, then that would make him feel good, I would think. Like, oh my gosh, she really misses me. She really wants to spend time with me. I'm hoping that would make anybody in any partnership feel good. Well, I miss you. And I want you to be able to do that. And then we would go to a whole other section where we compromise. Well, maybe what we can do is, like, maybe I can plan fishing, which I love. I can get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go fishing. I'm home at noon. And the rest of the day, you and I plan something fun. Like, that would be a great compromise. I mean, you could do that, like a commitment, and we'll do some commitment things later. But yeah, but that's an example. Is that correct? He checked in with her. She clarified. So now he's not defensive anymore. He goes, oh, so what I thought I heard was that she thought I spent too much time with my friends, but she just got through clarifying, like, no, it's not. The time you spend with your friend is fine, but you're not spending enough time with me. Right. And I go, okay, that makes sense. So I can spend time with my friends, but I also need to make sure I'm spending time with her.
Right. So at that point, you have to decide, how are we going to make more free time? Right.
Right. Or divide it, because you can't always make more free time.
Because she's okay with the time you're spending with your friends, and
she's okay. So in this scenario,
all the free time with his friends, then they either need more free time
or divide the free time.
He's got to give up some of the time.
Well, yeah. And even the way you say that can be interpreted, like, I don't know if he's giving up. He's just dividing it. Right. I don't know if he's giving up anything. He's just dividing it.
If you divide it, you're giving something up, right? Or
are you gaining something?
You're giving up one thing for a better thing.
See, that's better. Do you see what so this is so funny, because we're not planning this, but the vocabulary, the semantics really do matter. So if that was really what's happening, it's like, I'm giving up my friend time. I'm like going, are you, or are you gaining really great connecting wife time? Because guaranteed, if your spouse feels connected, everything's beautiful. The conversation time, the quality at the house time, the times that we are intimate or have sex, all of that's better when you both feel connected.
But then the guy's going to say, yeah, but I'm still giving up my friend time.
I'm not going to agree with that, because I don't
still
think
giving it up.
You might.
I get more time with my wife, and I love that.
But that's a good point.
I'm still giving up friend time.
Yeah, but again, it's semantics and mind frame. Because if I was spending 8 hours with my girlfriends, and I loved it. We go hiking every day, then we go boarding, then we go do this, right? Great time. If you were telling me, like, for real, if you were telling me, like, hey, I don't feel like we have enough time. I miss you. It seems like that's more important. We had the same conversation in reverse. I would not think I was giving up anything. I would think, I'm like going, oh, I'll split my time. I win on both accounts. I get to have some time with my friends, which is still winning. Whether it's 4 hours, 1 hour, or 8 hours, spending time with my friends is amazing. I'll take 30 minutes if I can get it. And then also, I get to spend time with you. And the fact that you're telling me you want to spend time with me and that you miss me makes the time together much more meaningful, because I know it's important to you. And you literally told me that, like, I want you, I need you. please spend time with me, who doesn't want to feel loved? So to me, I think it's a win-win. And maybe that's my mindset, consider. And I think some men would consider giving up, and some men were like going, oh, this is definitely a win-win. Or like, you know what?
That's
I
what
would
I'm saying. I'm saying, no, I think they're going to be okay giving it up.
That's
It's still they're giving it up. You're just using
Listen, everybody, we're going to beat this horse down. That's what I'm saying. The word giving up is like you've lost something. I'm giving up $100. I'm giving up sleep. I'm giving up my dessert. I'm giving up in the brain would be like, I've lost something. And so I'm just saying, baby.
Semantics?
I'm saying consider mindset.
Okay.
And I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, like, I'm hoping that you will approach it more positively, I guess. I don't know what else to say.
I'm not being unpositive. I mean, it's still positive.
Oh, you're not being unpositive?
Yeah, it's still
okay.
It can still be positive. You're still giving up your time with your buddies.
Okay. Again, beating the dead horse. I'm saying, I can't tell if he's serious or if he's, I think he is serious, actually.
I am.
I'm like going, or if he's just being funny.
I speak for all the guys out there.
Yeah, I think you're being global. I think.
Okay.
Because my dad, holy cow, my dad would give up time with the children. We all have things with that. He's amazing with my mom. His whole world and my mom's whole world, they were so connected. They would never think about their friends as giving up time. They would say, I'm winning.
Dad,
I know my mom and dad are
unique.
An
anomaly.
That might be true. But that being said, again, everybody out there, think of semantics and think of the mindset. It can be a win-win, and that's what we're wanting in our relationships. We want our free time. We want our friend time. We want our own self-care, eating right, sleeping right, moving right, taking care of our, our hobbies and things like that. And also we want to make sure that we're taking care of our relationships, and we want it all to be positive. I want everything to be a win-win, which it can be. So with that, that's the big piece with the clarification. So when you're having these conversations, like with this one we just had, right? And at the very end, your character was saying, let's talk more about this. Let's explain more so I can make sure I'm really getting it, because he's clear on like, oh, it's okay to hang out with my friends. Well, let's talk more about that. Like, what do you mean by you don't think I consider you? What do you mean by that? Well, that sounds like you're saying, right? Like maybe I don't love you, or, and she can go, no, I think you love me. Sometimes it feels like you forget about me, or it could be like, I'm wondering if, like, I don't know, maybe sometimes I feel taken for granted, like, like underappreciated, like, hey, we're married. And now that we're married, we don't have to date each other. We don't have to nurture those relationships. I get that a lot with my couples. It's like, we're married and now it's like, like, well, I see you every day. I go home to you in your bed, and the wife or the partner, whether it's the wife, husband, or whoever the partner is, they're like going, I don't count us sleeping next to each other as quality time. We're just we're sleeping. We're not interacting. We're not engaging. So out of your other 16 hours, you're at work for 8, and then travel time. Now we're at, now that's 10. So we got 6 hours. And so, then you have to spend time with the kids, and then maybe you're making dinner, or maybe I'm making dinner. If we made dinner together, that's brilliant. That's quality time that we could be doing things together, right? At any rate, so she could explain all of those things. Like, again, I'm the dead horse. I feel like we've already done this. But for everybody listening, again, go grab the book and get those blank worksheets out. What I like about the book is I give you examples just to kind of refresh your mind what I mean by those definitions. And then you get blank ones so that you can fill them out. So it's like there's initial statement, whatever that statement was. Then I have to go, okay, here's what I think I heard, right? what are the thinking blockades? What are the listening blockades? And if this is really what I think I heard, and I'm not really activated, but I think this is what she means or he means by this, let me clarify. Here's what I think that means. Is that accurate? Oh, it is accurate. Well, tell me more about it because this seems to be important to you. Or I didn't get it right. We'll say it again, but maybe say it differently. Or let's explore that more. Tell me more about what you're thinking and feeling. And then you go back and forth until you get that. The idea is not to derail. If someone made the initial statement, stay with that statement. Even if you think of all the other examples are like, well, you do that too, or well, how come I do it, but you don't do it? Like those types of things. Try not to get defensive or like tit for tat, because that probably will happen. I think that happens in every relationship. It happens in our relationship a lot. We both do that. But try to stick with the statement, get it all the way through, make sure you really understand. I probably wouldn't, after you get it all understood, I wouldn't go, oh, well, you do that too. I would save that for another time, because then it's like, was I really listening to understand, or was I listening to say I understand? And now I can say, you do it too, right? We don't want to do that. Just like save it for another time, use that opportunity as to connect more. If you're the listener and you're really listening and you're not minimizing, you will win, they will win. And then at another time, if you notice that, then bring it up. And I would recommend bring it up like it's a new subject, not like, remember we had that conversation last week? Well, now look, you're doing the same thing. Don't do that. You're just saying it's a fight. You're literally there leading in with a fight, right? Just say, hey, da 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 da, and then let the other person do the exact same thing you did in the first scenario. I'm hoping that makes sense. But that being said, that is again part of the first skill, listening to understand. Our next time we meet, we're going to be doing skill 2, which is the exploring skill. That's going to be very similar to clarification, but it's going to be a little bit more. There's a couple more things that it's about, how to identify and all those types of things. But we're going to get into it. So do you have any closing words that you want to say, my dearest?
I don't. This is not easy. I'll tell you that. It's hard to remember the thinking and listening blockades and then know which one you're using,
You have to be very present and very self-aware.
Yeah.
And be okay misstepping.
Right. And it happens. It'll happen to you. It happens to us. Just keep at it. And
I appreciate that. Yeah, it happens to us. And I teach this almost every day. I go over this almost every day. Yeah. And so it's a good reminder to me every single day, like, I got to do better at that. Well, everybody, thanks so much for spending this time with us. Until next time, when we go over the next section of Don't Twist My Words, we want to wish you all happy days and wish you happiness, health, and safety. We really appreciate the time that you choose to spend with us. We hope that it's relatable and it's things that you can use. Remember, you can go on the website, lifeyougotthis.com, if you have any questions or comments, or you want to be on the guest on the show. And until next time, remember, this is your life. You got this. Bye-bye.